Oh, this is, I guess we're done with the reads. We're jumping right into it here. We're jumping right into it. I thought the next advertisement was called the caste system. And I was like, that sounds like that's a weird name for a company. Unless they're, this is like Invisalign, like, that do it at your home Invisalign, if they had the caste system, like do it yourself caste. You're tired of breaking your limbs and having to go down to the doctor to let this son of a bitch, highfalutin, superior, elitist guy set your bones back in place. Wouldn't it be great if there's a home system? Well, thankfully there is, the caste system. Next time you blow out your knee trying to catch a fucking grease pig. All right, the caste system, everybody. Hey, Billy, no Brahmin. I don't know what that means. I got to look that. B-R-A-H-I-M. Brahmin. They're saying that's a fucking soccer player. Brahm Diaz. Brown bags. Shop for brown bags online at Macy's. What the fuck is a Braham bag? I don't get it. I like when you guys insult me. It's worse when I should have said Billy no brainer. No brainer having? I don't know. Jesus, Bill. Just read it, okay. Hey, Billy no Brahmin. I'm not from India, but I do read. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I do play an Indian on TV. So hear me out. On the last Monday morning podcast, you wondered why Indians are still casting it up even after the fall of the British Raj. The simplest answer. Now I'm taking all of this with a, oh, wait a minute. Is that like a Birkin bag? Because the purses just showed up. I don't know. Plowing ahead. The simplest answer is that India's caste system predates British colonialism by 3,000 years. Oh, really? So the British are off the hook for that. And you're not Indian, but I'll take your word for it until somebody Indian writes in. Its historical roots can be traced back to the second millennium, BCE, following the conquest of the northern half of the subcontinent by the so-called Aryans. Yeah, those Aryans. As with the swastika symbol of Hindu antiquity and the Charlie Chaplin-style narrow mustache of the early 20th century. Yeah, that Nazi symbol, they actually stole that, and they turned it into something bad. And we're all just waiting for the lead singer of U2, Bono, to take it back. He already did it with Helter Skelter. Long time ago, somebody took this song. Tonight, we're going to take it back. When I get me fucking potatoes. You didn't take it back. It's still linked with Charlie Manson. But good on you. You and your ego thinking that was enough to take it back. Nonetheless, way back when, there was indeed a group of steppe nomads who conquered large swaths of Eastern Europe, along with the modern-day Iran and northern India. I believe it was called Persia back then, right? Think of them as the first Mongols. Nice. Good for them. But how do we know about them apart from the studying their descendant languages? I'll get to that in a second. I love that you thought I was smart enough to ask that question. So ignoring about 30 centuries of history, let's jump to the middle of the 19th at the height of the British Empire and wonder, not why did the British impose the caste system, but rather why didn't they abolish it? Again, the simplest answer is convenience. Ruling a population of 200 million people on the other side of the world is no easy feat. Better to graft the necessary administrations onto the already existing customs that try to replace them than rather than try to place them wholesale, right? Of course, well, yeah, if they're oppressing each other and you want to oppress them as a group, yeah, just leave what they have in place. Of course, modern scholars have taken the Brits to task for codifying India's caste system and implementing it in their colonial laws, and have even argued that the caste system wasn't nearly as rigid before British rule. They argue this in neutrality-titled books like The Scandal of Empire, Indian and the Creation of the Imperial Britain. So you're saying that they're incredibly biased books. All right, this guy is really smart, and I'm not getting most of these jokes. All right, unfortunately, they're full of shit. Well, according to you. Okay, grade A academic horseshit, to be precise, which brings us back to the Aryans. How do we know they established India's caste system? Because their descendants still rule it, and we can code for their genes. According to David Reich, a geneticist at Harvard and the leading researchers in the in the ancient population DNA sequencing. The strongest signals of elevated steep ancestry were in two groups that were of traditionally priestly status, who were expected to be custodians of text written in Sanskrit. I hope I'm saying this shit right. The people who were custodians of the Indo-European language and culture were the ones with relatively more steep ancestry, and because of the extraordinary strength of the caste system in preserving ancestry and social roles over generations, the ancient substructure in the Ani, ancestral North Indians, is the ANNI, I guess, is evident in some of today's Brahmins, even after thousands of years. Oh, so Brahmins are actually people. I thought they were purses, because that's what came up when I did a search, or a soccer player. In other words, there's a reason the brilliant gastroenterologist Dr. Siddhartha, is this just a whole trolling fucking question just to expose how much I can't read? Comes from the same country as the untouchable sewer cleaner Sanjay, and it's not because the British forced them to pay attention to their shit. All right, so he's saying basically it was already there and was implemented by the so-called Aryans. Yeah, those Aryans, as with the swastika symbol on Hindu antiquity, Charlie Chaplin, the early 20th century. All right. Okay, well, that's interesting. I think I need to read more than that. I mean, I'd have to read that another 10 times to understand most of that. But from what you're saying was it basically already existed, and then they just worked with it, and now people are giving them shit for not abolishing it while they oppressed people. Is that what it was? Is that what just happened there? I have no idea what just happened there. All right. Twitter fuckery. All right. Hey, Bill, saw this tweet and it made me think of you. I'm starting to believe we're a country of suckers falling for the oddest crumble society play in the book. Love you, love the podcast. All right, somebody tweeted, having traveled across the U.S. over the last 2 months, new place every week, coast to coast, it's terrifying, all in capitals, to see how Twitter adjusts its news and spin based on your location. Even if it knows your personal algorithm, affects everything from which comment you see first, oh wow, to ads, to what's trending. I always knew this information approach was a thing, but to experience that dramatic a shift from state to state in such a relatively short amount of time was incredibly eye-opening. Who is reading what and why? Well, that would explain, the divide. I think, social media, 24-hour news networks like CNN and Fox News, they've pitted us all against one another. How do you think it's working out, everybody? I don't think it's been a good thing. We can't even get on the same page with the goddamn virus that's affecting all of us, killing all of our grandparents, potentially. I don't know that it's done. I think it's done for monetary reasons, though. I don't think it's done to divide. I just think that, the greed of just going after the dollar and not wanting to piss people off and just giving people what they want to hear, or you think that they want to hear. I think that they're doing it because of that. But then you combine the fact with when you go on the internet, like me right now, like you don't need to have any qualifications whatsoever. And if you deliver something with confidence, people believe that it's true, especially if they want it to be true. So it's very, very crazy. So what you could do is you could be like me and just completely tap out. It's weird. I'm on social media, but I'm not really paying attention. There's a few comics I follow, obviously. But, I pretty much watch stuff. I watch musicians. I watch animals fighting each other. Bear versus moose. I watch all of that shit. I watch a lot of shit on old cars and pickup trucks, specifically motorcycles, racing. And what I hate is if I try and do anything about fitness, then the next time I go into my search, it's all fucking booty models and all of that. And then I look like I've been watching fucking porn, which I haven't been doing since May, and I don't even think about it anymore. I think I was addicted to porn for the better part of 20 fucking years. Once it became free, it's like when you first move out, and you're like, wait, I can go to the grocery store and buy what I want to buy, and you start buying bags of Oreos. I can have as many as I want, That's what free porn was. It was the fucking porn version of that. But I got to tell you, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It sucks for like 3 weeks because you got to fucking reboot your brain. Like, did I actually have the ability to use my brain to come up with different scenarios when the computer's been doing this for me? Yeah, like that part of my brain got lazy. So, I don't know. Maybe that was an overshare, but I'm just saying you can get off porn. I even got uncomfortable halfway through. I was trying to figure out how to word it. I don't know what to think about if I want to jerk off because you've been doing it for me. That's what I was basically trying to say. There we go. That was the streamline. All right, flyover states. My favorites. My favorite. Anyway, somebody's going to criticize the Seinfeld act. Am I going to do that first? Let me do this one first. Seinfeld article. Yo, Billy Nub Nub. Star Wars. Look it up. Mayfeld. Okay. All right, I'll look it up right now. What is a Nub Nub? That's probably an adorable little creature or some sort of robot. Here we go. Star Wars. Nub. Yub Nub is one. This guy wrote Nub Nub. What does Yub Nub mean? Freedom? Oh, Jesus. All right. That Seinfeld article was a great cheerleading effort to get New York City to believe it will be what it was. Not saying it won't, but the article he responded to wasn't that harsh. It was realistic. Listen, we all know that people are struggling, but if you're going to go on public record, basically you're going to say out to the public that I'm leaving, the whole city's going down the fucking drain. Here's a real number. 75% of all restaurants in New York will be out of business by spring of next year, even with the booming holiday season, which they won't get. It wouldn't be enough. The mayor of New York said in response to things being shut down, the rich will have. Come on, guys. You gotta proofread these. I guess the rich will have to order takeout. That's ignorant political bullshit. I have 4 friends who have already had to shut down. 2 are owners of 2 separate restaurants, and the other. Yeah, buddy, we all know we're going through difficult times. It was just great for somebody to say we're going to be back. Well, let me ask you this: these people who are they never going to own a restaurant again? Are they never going to work again? Okay, we've gone through shit like this in the past, and all he was saying is that, God forbid, somebody says something positive. And now what you're going to do is just go all negative and just say that you're being a realist. Seinfeld was also being a realist. He wasn't sitting in the middle of this, acting like this was the end of the fucking world and that New York City, as we know it, is done and over, and it's never going to be, you're never going to be able to open another fucking restaurant. All right, all of this shit that you know and love that's going away, when it was built, there was people bitching going, but you're tearing down this other thing that we knew and loved. And then that becomes the new thing. All right? When the World Trade Centers were first built, people fucking hated them. They hated them. And then they became the identity of the skyline. And then when we lost them, people were beyond sad. All right? It's just whatever you love took the place of something that somebody else loved. Okay? We're all going through a rough fucking time here. And why do I need to read all of these fucking depressing stats? That this what you're going to do is what the news has been doing. This is all they've been doing. That's why I like what Seinfeld wrote. All right. He says that's ignorant political bullshit. I have 4 friends who've already had to shut down. 2 are owners of 2 separate restaurants, and the other 2 each manage other places. All out of work. 3 are leaving the city. Aside from banking, food is everything when it comes to the city's economy. It's fine to be optimistic, but saying New York is the greatest city in the world doesn't change how fucking bleak it's been. Well, you missed his message. Trash is literally piling up like it's never before. That's bullshit. The garbage men went on strike. It was way worse. Everything is going to continue to go to shit for as long as it takes huge real estate groups to come in and buy up the whole blocks. You should really look into it more. I understand all of this, sir. I understand all of this, but it was just nice to read something positive. Thank you for bringing me back down into you're so fucking real, man. I mean, you're catastrophizing here, is what you're doing. You're acting as though, first of all, you're saying that the trash has never piled up like this before. That's complete bullshit. The city was damn near lights out. Late 70s, early 80s. It was going bankrupt. There was like people squatting in empty fucking buildings that you could have bought for nothing. And now look at them. They're worth zillions of dollars. I remember when I first moved to like Harlem. I first went to New York City and I take the bus and we'd go through Harlem. it still looked like the way New York looked back. And now look at it. No one would have ever said that it would have came back like that. All right? It's constantly fucking changing. And I know gentrification, people don't like that shit. I'm not saying I'm pro or against it, but like those white people also got pushed out of where they were. Everybody's getting pushed. Everything moves. Everything changes. It doesn't have to be the end of the fucking world. Okay? This is, my big worry is that our money and our whole financial system is nothing but a Ponzi scheme, and that they will look at this virus as the scapegoat they needed to gracefully walk away and blame COVID and political parties and that type of shit for why the dollar collapsed, rather than the fact that they were a bunch of greedy cunts. All right? Anyway, but I don't know. He says, I do agree with you. We don't have any good leaders. But also, can you acknowledge that this isn't just some recession stuff? This is a whole new thing that's happening to the city. It's not a new thing. You missed the point. New York has gone through this. When Seinfeld moved to New York, the city was bankrupt. There was no curb your dog laws. There was dog shit all over the place. When I first came to New York, dude, you wouldn't fucking Alphabet City you didn't go there day or night. Tompkins Square Park was totally taken over by fucking drug addicts, homeless people, and all of that type of shit. Like, stuff does change. It's not always just going to be for the worse. And there's two ways of living your life. You can just sit there and be like, oh, it used to be better, and now it sucks, and it's never going to get better. You can live like that, or you can think positively about the future. Whereas I'm sitting out here in the throes of global warming with 119, 120 degree fucking weekend here. I was holding on to the fact that California passed a law that all trucks have got to be fucking electric in the next couple of years. And I think, it's going to be a tough transition, and I believe that we're going to do it. And I also believe that they're going to come up with some quick testing is going to be more affordable. They're going to come up with some sort of vaccine. If AIDS didn't take us out, this thing isn't going to take us out. We're going to lose a lot of restaurants. There'll be a bunch of new ones that come in. And, as far as corporations and big real estate groups buying shit up, they've been doing that forever. But there's still always going to be cool parts of the fucking city. And I believe in people. I believe in this country. And I approve of this message. All right, there you go. So, onward and upward. All right, I'm 38. She's 19. Oh, Jesus. And pregnant. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. All right. When you were banging her, were you still wearing your high school football jacket that you can't button anymore? Oh, God. All right. Hey, yo, Billy Bloodnut. Josh here from Sydney, Australia. Oh, one of my favorite fucking countries out there. I love Australia. I haven't been there in forever. I need the advice of the world's greatest copper wire pubes owner. Well, that would be me. I'm a 38-year-old man who's been seeing a 19-year-old stunner. All right. Well, I don't know what that would be frowned upon here. I mean, people did it. I mean, people always made fun of that shit. All right. I don't know. I don't know how it works over there. All right. We met at the gym. I'll never forget the day she walked in. The second I saw her, my heart skipped a beat as she put down her book bag. I'm kidding. My heart skipped a beat and I froze. Amazing face, fuck me eyes, tiny waist, and a fat ass that hips thrust 200 kilograms. Jesus, this guy is a fucking creep. I've never had a problem speaking with women, to be honest. I've fucked roughly 1,000 women in my years with a few serious relationships in between. You've had serious relationships while fucking 1,000. You must have been fucking those women right through those relationships. I couldn't even say hello to this girl for 3 months. The whole time I thought she was 26. I changed gyms for a week, and every day, all day within that week, I felt like it would be my life's regret if I didn't say hello. I swallowed my fears, probably from building her up in my head that 3 months, and went back to the gym and finally said hello. Her response was the same as my energy. She had been waiting for me to say hello that whole time. The next day, we went for dinner and cocktails. I found out she was 19, an influencer with over 200,000 followers, pretty good for an Aussie chick, and had been living between Sydney and LA for a couple of years. Needless to say, using the words of the great Dave Chappelle, I beat the pussy up. I got to tip my cap to how unfiltered this guy is. Murphy's Law has it that she falls pregnant. I don't think that's Murphy's Law, buddy. I think that's the law of nature. If you don't wear a condom and she's not barren and you fucking bust in her, yeah, that could happen. That's not Murphy's Law, dude. Let's not blame the Irish for this one, too. All right, we came to the decision not to go through with it. Over the weeks, she went to scans so they can determine dates and when to do the deed. Over that time, she grew attached to the pregnancy by seeing the heartbeat. Yeah, in the pictures. Exactly. And ultimately decided to keep it. Well, good for her. Over the weeks, in that meantime, I struggled with the age difference. Oh, now you struggle with the age. You haven't fucking struggled when you fucking busted a nut in her. The major reason being I have a 5-year-old son to one woman and an 18-year-old daughter to another. This guy is a fucking piece of work. They're the same age. Your older daughter, yeah, it's the same age. Billy Big Balls, what the fuck do I do? Well, there's nothing you can do. Because my daughter doesn't know. Well, you gotta tell her. I've told my besties, and they're all like, bro, you're the king. This is just reading like this isn't real. They didn't go like, bro, you just fucked your life. But I feel like a dud and a bad father. I'd say you definitely have some sort of issues. You might want to go to therapy if this is true. And see why you're banging 1,000 women and fucking, you got a 5-year-old with this one, an 18-year-old with that one. Now you're going to have one with this 19-year-old. Yeah, I would definitely say you got some sort of commitment issues or something. I don't know what, but it's going to cost you. If you were in my country, dude, you'd be fucking broke. If my daughter was seeing a dude my age, it would be the last day she saw him alive. Okay, so, all right, so are you acknowledging that you were a bit of a dirtbag here? But goddamn, what would a bald, emaciated Viking like yourself do? I would raise that kid, and I'd start wearing a fucking condom, is what I would do. Stay blessed, stay healthy, stay being awesome. Everyday listener to something of your work for years now. Yeah, buddy. Listen, dude, you got to get your dick under control. Your dick is fucking your life up. You don't have control over it, and your dick is deciding what you're going to do rather than your brain. Because if you looked at all of that on paper, if you talk to the younger you, now I know you love your kids and everything, okay? Didn't you wanted to find, I don't think that you wanted to have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women. I mean, that makes it really difficult, but I mean, it is your life. So what I would do is I would man up to what you did. I would tell my daughters about it. I'd go to therapy if you agree with what I'm saying. I would start wearing a condom. I try to get with women my own age or within reason. You know what I mean? I mean, okay, I'll go with the fact you thought she was 26, but when you found out she was 19, not only do you still go, oh, I guess you found out on the day, you still bang her, you bust a nut in her. I mean, those were, what's the nicest way of saying really fucking stupid moves? Yeah, buddy, what are you doing, man? I'm getting stressed reading this whole fucking thing. That's what I would do. I mean, you gotta raise this kid is what you got to do. I don't know where your now soon to be 3 kids live. I would pick an apartment right in the middle of all of them. And I would dedicate the next 20 years of my life to making sure that 5-year-old and that your new kid, don't have daddy issues. So they don't go to a gym and bang some 38-year-old without a fucking condom. All right. Good luck to you, brother. All right. Flyover state. Dear Bill, I live in what is often referred to as a flyover state. I appreciate you defending us and calling out people who use it. I fucking love it, man. Those states are great. They're not overly populated, and they're fucking beautiful. Dude, you give me a lush green topography with a fucking lake, and no traffic. I'm sold. Anyways, I appreciate you defending us and calling out people who use it. Not so much the phrase, but the dismissive tone it's used by some. The way you talk about something eventually informs how you feel about it if you're not careful. I'm not saying everyone in my place of the world is the most progressive person you ever met. Hey, dude, I live in L.A. L.A. is not the most progressive place either, including people who think they're really progressive. You can get so progressive, you can get fucking crazy, and you can go so far the other way, you're at a neo-Nazi meeting, which I can do all of that within fucking a half hour of my house. just as many bigots in large cities from my experience. That is 100% true. They just know, I've missed a sentence. I'm not saying every my place is progressive person, you're the most progressive person you ever meet, but damn, if that's not an ignorant part of the stereotype. Just as many bigots in large cities from my experience. That has been my experience, experience of some of my friends or whatever. It's just like some of the wild shit that people have said, I've had said while being in the middle of nowhere, Florida, Chicago, everywhere. Heard it everywhere. I just want to let you know that in my country, we've had 3 cases of COVID in the last 3 months. 0 deaths since it started, and never had crowded hospitals. My mother has worked at the largest hospital in the area for almost 40 years, so it's not just some shit I read on the internet. We live clean and eat organic and all that good stuff without even trying. From what I can tell, people in cities spend lots of money to avoid bad food. Yes, we do. We don't need a Whole Foods out here. People just give you stuff from their gardens because they got so much of it. You could say we're almost like socialists in that manner. Yeah, we got fast food and bad habits too, but it ain't worse than Yak in the Box, he said, and whatever else you got to settle on. We got 3rd-generation burger stands instead. Love your podcast. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really am, I'm sold on it. I went on Zillow and looked at some places, not like I'm not moving, but was just looking at it every once in a while if I want to irritate myself. And 2 of my favorite places, Milwaukee and Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I found this place in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because I always just see what's the most expensive house I could buy out here. And I found one out there for like just under $3 million. It was 19,000 square feet. It had a half court of basketball. It had an indoor pool that when they took a picture of it, it looked like you were in a dated hotel. The decor needed a little dressing up, but it was fucking ridiculous. The house was huge. You were up on a hill with a view. That house would be $100 million out here in LA. So there is something to say about being out there, but to be honest with you, I just wouldn't want to be an interracial couple living in the middle of fucking nowhere, because I just don't need those fucking, the yahoos out there are pretty fucking scary. So, but having said that, I'm a huge fan of a bunch of these cities that I've gone to, and now I'm actually looking at even smaller places, and I find the smaller I go, the more I like. Last year, when I went down to, and I stayed on that lake, and we went to a Clemson game. I mean, I fell in love with that place. The pace of it, the lake, the middle of fucking nowhere, people just leaving you the fuck alone, is really just, but, there's also amazing aspects to living in a city too. But I kind of like when I was out doing that gig in Ohio, I was really just being like, wow, man, I could drive my F-100 around these country roads. Granted, I couldn't do it for a number of months because it's snowing out, but who gives a shit? Just start it up and I'll be fine. I could have a motorcycle out here and not feel like I was going to die every 10 fucking feet. I could fly a helicopter out of this cool-ass fucking airport that's not super busy. I mean, there was just a lot. Fresh air, their fucking dairy farm. I mean, it was amazing. Now, granted, when you just dip in, you don't get like a feel, what the school systems and all of that shit's like. But I mean, I don't know. I get why people live out there. All right, Seinfeld article. I already read that one. 38 and pregnant. 38 and pregnant, I got all of that done. All right, what else we got? Psychedelics and scatterbrain. Oh, Jesus Christ, buddy. I'm afraid to read this. If you tell me that taking psychedelics helps with you not being as scatterbrained, and then I end up like fucking Jim the taxi driver. All right, listen, Bill. I heard you said a few podcasts ago not wanting to try psychedelics because you're already a scatterbrained lunatic. No. What I was afraid is that with all my crazy fucking thoughts that I have, not under the influence of that shit, I don't need it to be walking around in front of me or whatever happens. He said, I'm also a scatterbrained lunatic, and it fucking sucks. Depends on the job you pick. It's great for comedy. the worst is that I'm so self-conscious about it and feel like it's getting in the way of so many things in my life because I always feel mentally different than everybody else. So I decided to try mushrooms. It fucking changed my life for the best, man. By the way, I was going to ask in that. What the hell did I just want to ask? I'm so scatterbrained. I literally just forgot because I always felt mentally different. But, do you find, though, as scatterbrained as you are, but if something captures your interest, like you just all of a sudden get like tunnel vision and become obsessed with it? Because that's kind of how I am. All right. After listening to Rogan and all the positive things he's had to say about psychedelics, I figured I'd give it a try. Made sure the set and the settings was relaxing and removed any and all distractions around me, swallowed the shrooms, and then meditated. The trip was great with a hint of what the fuck. It really felt like cleaning my room, but in my brain. Let me organize all these half-open files laying around and all these heavy, harsh feelings on different things going on in the media. It just put everything into perspective and let me reorganize all these thoughts that take huge amounts of room in my brain. Once the trip was over, a few hours later, my brain was spotless. I then went to bed for the night and had these fucking weird dreams. The next morning, I could instantly feel a difference. I could focus, think clearly, finish projects, and had 2,000% more empathy for people around me. The shit going on in the world didn't affect me, and I felt 100% back to when everything was going well. I was afraid, like you, that being scatterbrained and a psycho would maybe not mix well with psychedelics. He said, I've had an addictive personality also, so was afraid of that. But turns out shrooms are not addictive. It's like a chore, and you're exhausted after a trip. It's really like cleaning your room, and I really suggest it, especially for your brain type, because I fully relate to you. I hope you give it a try and keep you updated. Okay, now go fuck yourself and try psychedelics. All right, I'm in. I'm tripping this week. I'll let you know how it goes. No, I'm kidding. I got 2 kids, man. I can't be fucking... Like, when is it okay for me to just fucking leave my responsibility for 4 hours or 6 hours, whatever the fuck it takes, when I'm on the road? No. I don't know, dude. I've opened a lot of Pandora boxes in my life and that I wish I'd remained closed. I don't know. It's going to take more than one fucking email. Although I got to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever listened to somebody who took psychedelics like mushrooms and ever said anything bad about them. Anybody have a bad trip? Anybody? Let's hear the other side. You know what I mean? I want to hear from Trump people. Explain to me why I should still have faith in a guy who says the troops are all suckers and losers. Please tell me that. Okay? Explain to me. Okay? But only if you're going to just address the fact that the guy did say it. Okay? Whatever. I can't say 100%. There is the chance that maybe it is a left-wing conspiracy. But you do know that he did say to inject household cleaner into you to try to get rid of the COVID. And then they tried to cover him and say he was being facetious. Because what a time to be sarcastic during the middle of a pandemic. Whatever, who gives a fuck? I know that's just going to create arguments. All right, that's it, everybody. It's time to go into your questions here for the week. Okay, second half kickoff is a touchback. 17-7, your New Orleans Saints. All right, the caste system in India. Take it from a Brahmin. All right. Hi, red-headed gingerbread. It was surprising that you brought the Indian caste system. It was surprising that you brought the Indian caste system up on your podcast. Delighted to see Billy Boy becoming globally woke. I wouldn't say I'm that. I mean, everybody knows about the caste system. It's kind of out there, isn't it? Anyway, but thank you for the compliment. You know I don't take compliments. All right, go down to the next window for that shit. I'm here for the Billy Red Pubes comments. I am an Indian. Live here. I am here meaning India. Live here. I am also an upper caste Brahmin. So, yeah. Oh, do they have like the rankings, like the college football rankings in the caste system? Let's see if I can find that. All right. Brahmin. And are you allowed to bang chicks in a different caste? You know? How does it all work? Let's see. Let's see here. Caste system names. Why does it keep saying Brahmin bags? The caste system, Brahmin and, I'm not going to try to say this, Kshatriya. The caste system is the social hierarchy in India. It is not limited to ancient India. It is still prevalent today. According to a something in the world religion, the caste system is its system of social stratification. All right, these are too many big words here. All right, let's get back to whatever the hell this person was talking about. I apologize for that profusely. If I was broadcasting a Reds game right now, I would just fire myself on air like that guy did. All right, where am I here? I am Indian, live here, and I'm also upper caste Brahmin. So yes, it is a problem, a major problem in India, and it has been for thousands of years. I second the historical brief overview that you read on your podcast from an email last time. Are we Indians trying to solve the problem? Yes. Is it nearly enough? Not even close. Our Constitution does provide provisions for reservations in government jobs and education for lower caste, a.k.a. scheduled caste, which will be called SC from here on. People such as, Jesus, this is like Star Wars, trying to know all these names. Dalits, as well as for scheduled tribes, ST from here on. People in the ST category are those which are believed to have lived here even before the Aryans came in and settled in the Indian peninsula. In fact, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is considered the father of our Constitution, was a leader in fighting against oppression of lower caste and belonged to a lower caste system caste himself. Side note, he studied at Columbia, a feat your fat brain can only dream of. Fucking asshole. I told you, Indian people love to break balls. They're hilarious. Reservations are similar to affirmative actions in USA. Has it helped these lower caste people access better lives? The answer is in the stats. Quoting a newspaper from 2019, the National Family Health Survey 2015-2016 showed that 45.9% of ST population were in the lowest wealth bracket, compared with 26.6% of the SC population, 18.3% of OBCs, 9.7% of, Jesus Christ, buddy, of other castes. So, yes, there is still much more to do. Okay, everyone knows stats were bad for people in the lower end. Oh, fuck. Did Tom just throw a pick six? Oh, Jesus. The New Orleans Saints are making the biggest mistakes you can do right now. You're pissing off Tom Brady. Let's see what just happened here. My apology to people in lower caste systems in India. Oh. You know that cornerback's keeping that ball. That's one for the trophy case. Picking off Tom Brady, who's probably been throwing fucking footballs longer than that kid's been alive. In the NFL. Oh, it's becoming a blowout here. All right. Where am I? In fact, sorry, people. So, yes, there's so much more to do. The more stats you look at, it would be safe to assume that the more evidence you'll find to support the fact that it is a serious problem. Well, the fact that, you could have, like, a Bill Gates, a fucking Jimi Hendrix, a Michael Jordan, fucking Edith Wharton. Did I cover all my tracks there? A Mr. Miyagi living in the fucking lower caste system, and they can't make the Karate Kid. They can't get on the Bulls. They can't make albums. They can't live on their own creepy fucking island with their fucking reading glasses. I mean, people should be able to see how far their talents take them. It's why there shouldn't be something like that. And it's also why, if you are successful, you have a huge responsibility to try and help out others, because people helped you out. Unless you're a trust fund kid, then you have a whole other problem. You know what I mean? Your whole career path has been decided. The gene pool with which that you can fucking breed in has been decided. It's a really weird thing. All right. So anyway, reservation is a big issue in India, with upper caste folks out here staunchly against it. Doesn't this sound familiar? Current right-wing government that we have does not help much. That sounds very familiar. There is also an argument that reservation only helped the already well-off in the SC category. Usual reason quoted in SC category folks do not usually meet the education requirement to qualify for these jobs. This stance can be criticized as it is the very oppression of these people historically that has stopped them from accessing good education. Yes, and thus opportunities under reservation as well. Yeah, and then it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy that they're not good enough to do the job when they haven't had access to the tools that they need. Yeah, that is still a big problem in this country. On the other side, there is clamoring that reservations should be economic background based instead of caste based. This could bypass the problem of the already well-off getting more opportunities in SC and ST. I have mixed feelings about this one. Let's dig a little deeper. You must understand that similar to racism in the United States, this problem is not just about economics, as it's also cultural. What does that mean? You'll find the SC and ST category people working jobs which we consider as below dignity. Notorious, I don't know what that means. Notorious of them all are manual scavenging and sanitary worker jobs. To get more info, just do a Google search and see how many sanitary workers die in India every year just because of the lack of proper safety equipment, which is not funded properly. It's a problem with the upper class and caste just choose to ignore, and it's just invisible to us. You'll find majority SCs working in this profession. All right, we're almost to the end here. It's very similar to the U.S. sending in black folks to do the hardest of the risky jobs in fighting their wars, making them live in the highly polluted areas. I don't think the situation of SCs and STs is going to change for another century unless we start having conversations here in India about caste system and class issues both. You may think what I've done as an upper caste Brahmin. Oh, you might think, what have you done to improve their situation? To that, I would say not enough, except for reading books to enlighten myself about this issue and donate to NGOs who work on similar issues. Lastly, there are some books you and your readers can go through to understand more about this problem. Number 1, The Argumentative Indian. Number 2, Annihilation of Caste. Number 3, India After Gandhi. Finally, I hope you are still doing your meditation. No, I got away from that. I've been listening to you for a long time, and as long as I can think of, and it has helped me get through a lot of boring office work. I have seen you evolved into a better person. Thank you, except for the occasional angry rants against women. Guilty as charged. After marrying the amazing Nia and becoming a father. Hope to see you perform live someday. Keep on keeping on and go fuck yourself. Dude, I would love to get back to India to do another show. Hopefully in a COVID-free world, I can do that because I fucking loved going over there. I loved the people over there. And it was just a great time. All right. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine if old dumb me read India After Gandhi? Jesus Christ. I should do that to try to balance out all the booze I fucking drank in my life. All right. California energy deficiency. Jesus Christ. We're going deep this fucking week. Billy Bronzeballs. As a California resident, listening to your podcast last week, you mentioned how relieved you were that the state is mandating to switch for trucks to run on electric trucks. I used to be in this camp as well until I realized how efficient the electric grid is in this state, particularly when the sun is blotted out by smoke from huge fire. Oh, stop it. Oh, they're not saying they're going to be solar powered. The state relies on sun and wind for its electricity. All right, but Jesus Christ, I don't understand fucking people. They're just against cleaner stuff. I just don't fucking get it. They're just against helping out poor people. They're just against fucking everything. And clearly what the fuck we're doing is not working. It's not working. It's not fucking working. And any time somebody tries to do something new, they just try to pick out a fucking problem with it. Yes, if there was fires 24/7, yes, there would be a problem relying on the solar. But what about the other 350 fucking days of the year? It's not cloudy. All right. Anyway. And the reason we had blackouts are because we didn't have enough sun and a shortfall in wind to keep up with the demands of the grid. Adding a bunch of trucks to the already underperforming grid is a recipe for disaster. No, it isn't. I think we just need to invest more money into that grid. And I think there's been enough oilmen and lobbyists preventing that. You know, when the standing president is going like, all of a sudden the wind doesn't blow and you can't watch your favorite TV show. Like he's literally talking against it. The state isn't planning accordingly to handle this uptick in demand. I think we should be building additional nuclear power plants to replace the one and only nuclear power plant in Diablo Canyon, which is scheduled to close in 2025. Nuclear energy is carbon-free, and surely our politicians see this shortfall coming. Could employ the scientific community to find a safe way to deposit the waste. Here's the deal. If you just let scientists solve all of this and you didn't have politics involved, they could all get on the same page. Well, even then, you'd have egos and they'd want credit. I don't know. Nuclear energy is carbon-free. I already read that. We get it that climate change is presenting new challenges to our state that are incredibly difficult to overcome, but I've had enough of blame placing. How about we get some logical solutions implemented to help us overcome the challenges instead of placing blame? Now, this is what I agree with. Around every freaking time something terrible yet predictable happens. Since we are the home of technology and the most affected by climate change, we should be leading the way in innovative solutions. But instead, we get an empty suit with both palms up, blaming humans everywhere in the world for why our state continues to burn every year. Just my thoughts, and go fuck yourself. Yeah, well, I think the problem is everything has been politicized. So, I don't know. Somehow global warming becomes a liberal or a conservative fucking problem. And the problem is you have all of this money, this old money, and these old ways of doing things, and the way corporations behave, they don't want to lose any money. And it's going to kill all of us if we don't, or I should say, greatly affect the way we're going to live. So, I don't know. Love that guy at Tesla or hate him. We need more guys like that who just can act independently and try to do something. I don't know what. I have no idea. You know more than I do, but like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's 120 fucking degrees out here last weekend. Okay, everything's on fucking fire. We got to do something. And I believe that we will do something. But we have to stop attacking each other, which I kind of did at the beginning. That I probably attacked you, so I apologize. There we go. See? I'm trying to be an adult here. All right. You are doing it too. Fox and CNN. Bill, you talk about the Trump bad-mouthing soldier story as if it's a fact. It was told to a reporter and anonymous. Yeah, you're right. I am doing it too, because I don't read, because I ended up following up on that story, and it was just a rumor. The reporter who helped push the Iraq war narrative, and John Bolton, the guy who was one of the architects of the CIA enhanced interrogation program. Trump has badmouthed everyone. Who cares? All right, I don't go with that. That's you knowing that he's an idiot. That's you. That's what Trump people are doing right now, going like, I mean, Joe Biden's just as bad. It's like, he isn't. Mike Pence isn't just as bad. Nobody is just as bad as this guy. Like, I really, in the bottom of my heart, believe if this guy doesn't have have some sort of mental problem, he has a horrific inferiority complex and an astounding lack of empathy. That I care about that, because I care about people. I care about this fucking country. All right, so that's where I draw the line, because I usually don't, I usually shit on both of them. If you look at my track record, that's what I've been doing. I trashed fucking Trump and Hillary. I've made fun of Obama. I even made fun of Michelle. I've made fun of Bush. I made fun of them all. All right. The fact that this story is coming this way from those people is what's fucked up. You parroting this stuff is basically what the establishment wants. Yeah. Ask Jimmy Dore what he thinks about these guys. If you don't believe a person you don't know, love you and love F's family. You're 100% right. I've done that a couple of times. And I'm guilty of that this year because I'm not living a life. I'm just staying at home. I have nothing to talk about, so I'll just Google News something. I read the fucking headline and I riff. And because part of the charm of this fucking podcast is me being fucking uninformed and saying dumb shit, it's not cool to do that about politics. So I promise to stop doing that. All right, New York's past and future. Bill, read your New York City thought. The city has been through numerous changes over the last 100 years. The most impactful is highlighted in this very compelling report I've linked. New York City was essentially bankrupt in the 1970s. Yes, it was. The banks called the city's bluff when it came to what they would do, to restructure literally the entire New York City economic system, public and private. They took a major hold of the city and have been controlling every shift it's had. This also deals with hyper-nationalism, how it has been used to deconstruct regimes. Oh, so banks have been running New York City, huh? I should read that. I'll get you guys. Let me at least have the decency to click on the link here. Okay, it's a YouTube video. It's called, oh my God, it's 2 hours and 46 minutes long. Settle in, people. It's called Hypernationalism by Adam Curtis. It's the full documentary. Check that out. Wow. Jesus Christ. Thinking you're going to need a pot cookie after that one. That's going to be some heavy fucking watching there. All right, where the hell am I? Oh, where did it all go? Oh, look at that. There's my 2020 Patriots roster, getting to know everybody. N'Keal Harry, number 15. Joe Thuney, 62. I got the whole fucking offense and defense down here. But what I don't seem to have is my fucking Oh, I know why, because they weren't in that area. Okay, I'm back. No, I'm not back. MMP contact. I'm back. All right. Bad trip. All right. Oh, the fucking Buccaneers scored. 24-14. Here we go. All right. It's not a blowout. All right. Bad trip. Number 1. Dear Billy Shakedown Street. I don't even know what that means. I like it. Sounds like a failed pilot that they were trying to pair with 21 Jump Street back in the day when Fox was a new channel. Dear Billy Shakedown Street. Bad trips are like bad drunks. You may be in a bad mood if you think about dumb shit that annoys you, but chances are you'd giggle and laugh and talk a little more like George Carlin. Oh, if I took mushrooms that people for some reason want me to do. You should do some research on microdosing. You will never hear a bad story about that, and it could definitely help take the edge off in terms of losing your shit. Everyone will tell you it helps things roll off easier, anger and sadness being the main two. Well, my question about that is it just numbing me from those, or is it actually truly helping me? Where a painkiller doesn't truly help make you better. It just numbs the information. It blocks the information going to your brain, right? P.S. Here is my bad trip story. Once in college, I didn't go to the bar and ate mushroom instead with a friend. I started thinking about how antisocial I was and felt bad for having to be different. A few moments later, I realized I went to the bar 5 nights a week anyways and wasn't missing anything. I'm a child of divorce and have some PTSD, and nothing was triggered. All right, so you just felt bad for a little bit, and then you realized it wasn't bad. Okay, all right, I'll go with that. All right, hey, Billy Big Nuts, listen to your podcast, your Monday podcast about the positive mushroom trip and wanted to weigh in. I'm a super laid-back person. I've hardly ever worked up or stressed and can normally just go with the flow. I was always nervous about trying mushrooms because of the stories I would hear from other people. Everything from being stranded in space, trying to get a taxi back home, to one friend who tripped while camping alone and thought Bigfoot was coming to kill him. Turns out Bigfoot was just a beaver gnawing down trees behind his tent at night. Parentheses, they're nocturnal. Dude, I don't need to be thinking a beaver is a Bigfoot. I'm not doing this shit, people. You guys can try to convince me all you want. I eventually got tired of hearing the stories, all of which were so different, and wanted to experience it myself. I did it 2 or 3 times and had nothing but positive experiences, mostly just laughing my ass off with my buddies. After these few times, I tricked myself into thinking nothing could go wrong, but I was mistaken. The next time I took them, I did an 1/8 to myself, which was way too much for me, roughly 3 grams. On the previous trips, when taking an appropriate amount, I felt like I was floating on a lazy river, just enjoying myself. But with the 3-gram trip, the lazy river turned into a fucking White Rapids waterfall. I became extremely anxious and insecure. I wasn't able to focus on anything without feeling nauseous and remember desperately wanting to be home. I was at a concert. I just wasn't myself anymore. I don't know what he wrote. It was a feeling I'd never want again. But the beauty of mushrooms is that even the bad trips teach you something. After fighting those shitty feelings for what felt like hours, probably an hour at the most, I slowly started to become myself again, and that was the beautiful part. I'd never been so happy to be me. The bad trip had taken me so far away from who I was that it let me see myself from a distance and show me how lucky I am to be me. I'm truly a blessed person, and I kind of forgot that until I had my bad trip. So the moral of the story is to take the appropriate amount for you. Well, how do I know that before I try? There's just too many variables here. If you just want to have fun and dip your toes into the water, do that. Or you can dive in the deep end and maybe not fully enjoy it, but still come away with some powerful lessons. Thanks for doing what you do. It truly makes people happy and can't wait till we can all laugh at you in person again. Take it easy. All right. Well, don't you learn the same lessons with alcohol? You know, I've definitely had the thought of like, wow, I wish I was sober right now. I wish I wasn't puking. I wish I wasn't doing this in public. I wish I didn't say that. Except I never learned from those lessons, did I? Well, I eventually did because I finally quit all this shit. Anyways, all right, that's it. My apology for just, I really feel bad about just reading shit about politics and world stuff and riffing on it. I just feel like, you know, I shouldn't be doing that. The world has changed enough now. There's people just walking up shooting cops now, evidently. This is stupid. So I won't do that anymore, right? My apology. I was just fucking around. And I shouldn't do that. All right, so that's it. By the way, horrifically fucking underrated. I finally listened to the first Chicago Transit Authority album. I was in my car last night driving to 2 stand-up spots, and I was listening to it like, this is they're one of the most unbelievable fucking bands of all time. One of the most underrated bands of all time. Their fucking horn section, and I don't know who wrote that arrangements on some of those songs, like face melting level shit. And I was stone sober listening to it. I highly recommend the first Chicago Transit Authority album. It's unfucking believable. And now all of those stories of Jimi Hendrix falling in love with the band, loving Terry Kath, and bringing them on tour to open for them. I can't imagine what those shows were like. I got to look to see if there's any footage of it. I mean, it's incredible. Okay, and with that, let's get to some of the reads here. Andrew was letting me know that there's some renewable energy. I got some conspiracy here on COVID. All right, retracting. Last week you said you misspoke about the Trump military comment. I was wondering what advertiser made you do that. No, somebody wrote in. Who cares if he didn't say it? He's an asshole and probably would have. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought you were against doing the apology tour, but now you're okay with it when it's spawned by GOP supporting underwear? Ooh, yeah, well, let's go back here. There's a lot of controversy in this one. I didn't apologize for a joke. Yeah, and I never said that if I'm wrong, I won't apologize. I was talking about jokes. Look at you. Look at you trying to make a ball of strike over here. I'm saying if I went up and I told a joke and I was joking around and I was fucking around and somebody fucking gets offended by it, I mean, you have every right to do that. But if I apologize to you, then that means that I meant the joke in a malicious way, which I didn't. Now, going back to the Trump thing, I just repeated it without looking it up, and I meant it. So I apologize for doing that, because I don't want to put misinformation out there. Misinformation, sir, is way different than telling a joke at a comedy club or on a special or on a late-night talk show. And by the way, you have lost all credibility when you say, who cares if he didn't say it? So the truth doesn't matter to you because you don't like that guy. And you're so neck deep in this shit that you know that whatever the fucking advertisers, which ones support which candidate. So I would say that you're not exactly an impartial person. I also don't think that you are a rational person. That if you say, who cares if he didn't say it, he's an asshole and probably would have. I mean, that you just summed up the case on a lot of, that's like how they try a case on Twitter. And that's something I don't want to be a part of, okay? Agree to disagree on that one. Wow, I thought you were against doing the apology. Did I do the apology tour? I didn't think I did that. But now you're okay with it when it's spawned by the GOP supporting underwear? People, you guys really need to stop fucking watching the news and you got to get off social media. I'm telling you. Like, listen to that. Listen to how that's fucking Who cares if he didn't say it? You literally sound like that evil guy in fucking RoboCop. Who cares if it didn't work? Jesus fucking Christ. That's why I was really measured when I was talking about that show down there. I still respect those people. I just don't agree with them. But the woman who's running the club was a sweetheart and brought out free food. So she is a great person. I just don't agree with her Seabreeze theory. Agree to disagree. And someday when the COVID shit is over, I will gladly go back down there and fucking do a show. All right. Oh, wait. Billy Beanhead Burr is what the guy called me. All right. This is the next one. Sorry. Conspiracy. Billy Beanhead Burr. I don't mind Beanhead. That makes it sound like it's a normal size head. As of right now, I feel COVID was deliberate. Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people are a little frustrated, so you're going to go crazy. Real, but not nearly as bad as they make it out to be. With COVID, new restrictions are being placed on us, and where they're going with. And did you want to say, and who knows where they're going with it? I love how you guys are just as dumb as me. So we don't focus on the fact that our liberties are being taken away. They distract us with a troll president, Floyd, etc. Okay, so you think George Floyd, you're not saying George Floyd didn't happen. You're saying that focusing on that was a distraction for them using COVID to take away and put new restrictions on us. And you're saying that President Trump is just a troll. Okay, all right. Now, number two. Bill, where are you at conspiracy-wise with this? I personally have been wearing a mask and always moderately concerned, but lately I'm finding lots of holes in everything I hear. No information is true for more than 2 weeks. The false positive reports are really what have me thinking it could be not as bad as they say. Can you talk how this could be the case? All right. Well, these are all your theories. All right. Right now, I feel COVID was deliberate. No, I don't think it was deliberate because it's like people have lost a ton of money on all levels. It's fucked with everybody. And if it was deliberate, then it would literally be a worldwide conspiracy. And for the first time ever, leaders from every country all got on the same page and said, yeah, let's go with this. So I can't agree with that aspect of it. I respect that this is what you feel, though. But not nearly not real, but not nearly as bad as they make it out to be. I think governments have a responsibility to protect their citizens. Okay? And just because it's not nearly as bad as they thought it was for people who are healthy, that doesn't mean that people with asthma, weakened immune systems, and old people should all die, unless you're talking global warming, and we need to thin the herd. That's a completely different conversation. He said with COVID, there's new restrictions are being placed on us. I mean, yeah, but they all seem COVID related. I don't really see like, okay, well, you know, you got to wear a mask and, you know, you can no longer own a gun. Like I just don't see that happening. And where they're going with it. So we don't focus on the fact our liberties are being taken away. They distract us with the troll President Floyd. No, I honestly think Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are a reaction to 2008, the banking scandal. And none of those guys went to jail. And so many people own homes and they lost money, lost their home. I lost money on a house. Those bankers fucked all of us. And I was in the same headspace. I wanted somebody to bring change. And that's what Donald Trump was saying he was going to bring. And Hillary was just a company man. And I've said this before. I really think that Bernie Sanders was the left's Trump as far as like this guy's a rebel. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Trump, but the guy is a fucking rebel. He is. And he made all these promises that he was going to drain the swamp and all of this type of shit and everything. I mean, just stuff that one man cannot fucking do. One person, it's not a movie. One guy's not going to go in there and fix it. You just can't do that. Where are you conspiracy-wise with this? I'm not saying that now that it's come out that there's not some dirty laundry that they're going to try to bury underneath it. Like I was worried that they're going to collapse the dollar and say that the reason why it collapsed was because of the COVID thing rather than because of years and years of their mismanagement of funds, their greed, getting off the gold standard and all of that shit. That's kind of where I stand with that. But I think the world is round. I think COVID is real. I think Trump got elected because of the bankers in 2008 and the Democrats not having the right, what wasn't like a boxing match. It wasn't a good matchup. Hillary could have won a different year. or whatever. I mean, and Hillary would have been fucking horrific for a lot of reasons, as far as like with bankers, oil companies, war, and all of that, which I think a lot of people wanted to get away from. But now, of course, looking back, I just how overtly racist and unempathetic our leader is right now. I just can't. That's just something I just can't fucking sign off on. And it's funny. I got friends who are Trump. They go, show me an example where the guy's racist. I just want to be like, do you really think that 35 to 40 million African Americans somehow are getting their own life experience with this guy wrong, and you as a white person somehow know their experience better than they do? I don't know. But whatever, I'm done arguing with those people, and, God bless everybody. And if he gets reelected, I hope he's like the Grinch and he grows a little more of a heart on certain areas. If he doesn't, I hope this fucking straw-headed fucking scarecrow that they got me on the Democrat side to fucking vote for, I hope he can live long enough to do something. I don't know. But right now, I'm rooting for firefighters, scientists, small businesses, and just regular people. I hope you're all happy and healthy, and I hope you can pay your bills. That's all I'm rooting for. I'm done with all of this other shit. All right, renewable energy. Hey, Billy Blubberbutt. I don't know why I got that, but okay. I was listening to your MMP for September 14th. Someone from California wrote in decrying using renewable to power the grid, saying that it has shortfalls in the stability of its power generation. Parentheses, I can't always see the sun, I think was the argument. It was a little more deeper than that. I have been an engineer in the U.S. oil and gas industry. I cannot believe some of the brainiacs that listen to this podcast. It must be like, how my wife watches Real Housewives just to shut her brain off. I think smart people might tune into this thing. They definitely don't listen to it for the information. So anyway, I have been an engineer in the U.S. and gas industry. I have also worked for a renewable energy think tank. I have seen both sides of the aisle and wanted to write you in response to that guy's letter because he sounds like a lot of people I work with in oil and gas. If he's representative of some of your listeners, then maybe I can do some good here by straightening some things out. Okay, here we go. I like this. Point, counterpoint. There are a few common arguments that get rolled out as anti-renewable energy sources, and so I'll deal with these briefly in turn. Yeah, I mean, I'm of the conspiracy belief that the current, I don't even know what the resources that we use for energy and power, you're fucking with blue blood money. And to try to get those people to change, and like I said, the only way to do it is you have to give them the sun. Just shut off the derricks, shut off the wells, shut all of this shit off. We're all going to go solar. You can keep fucking selling the oil and all of that shit, and you own the sun. Your family owns the sun. Okay? And when that thing burns out, we're all going to be dead. So you guys are going to be good for the rest of your fucking life. It's the only way to get them off of what they're holding on to. That's my philosophy here. And they bought all the politicians and all of that shit. All right. Renewable energy sources are unreliable because sometimes it isn't sunny or windy. So there are these things called batteries. And oh God, he's gonna be talking down to us. I love it. So there are these things called batteries, and they store energy. The issue with renewable up to about 5 to 10 years ago was that batteries couldn't be built at cost to store energy on that scale. However, this is not the case anymore. It is now standard to build a large battery farm with a renewable project. The battery is able to store and release energy to the grid as required. These are already in use in the U.S., Australia, the other fire country, and many countries in Europe. As battery technology improves, this actually makes electrical grids more versatile and capable of charging to meet the demands in real time. Some countries in less sunny climates, such as Germany, Iceland, Wales, and Denmark, are closing in on being entirely dependent on renewable energy sources to power their national grids. How exciting is that? They are not experiencing constant blackouts. That's amazing. I saw a YouTube advertisement for these Tesla solar panels, and I was thinking, like, if I can stick those on the side of my house, why can't I stick them on the side of a 76 GMC RV? Just fucking set the cross-country record. 3 drivers. We do it in 24 hours because we never had to stop. Number 2, renewables don't support as many jobs as fossil fuel energy does. This wasn't mentioned, but it is a common argument and one I have a lot of sympathy for. Coal and oil and gas are huge industry that employ hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. There's another reason why it's difficult to switch. So we have to do this in a way where these people that work for these companies and busted their ass and moved up the ladder are not left out of pocket here. Especially in parts of America, they support entire towns and communities. It has been argued that renewables do not and cannot produce the same number of jobs as oil and gas. In fact, this is false. A peer-reviewed study, well, it just makes sense. If you're going to be powering a whole city, are they saying the technology is so amazing that some jobs are going to get taken away? Anyway, a peer-reviewed study from 2017 found for every $10 million of investment oil, gas creates 27 full-time equivalent jobs, whilst renewables create 75. You might not be getting $200,000 to drive a truck anymore, but you don't get peanuts either. Renewables require ongoing upkeeping and maintenance too, so these jobs are not one and done in nature. Number 3, nuclear is the way. This is not so clear-cut either way, but I fall on the side of nuclear not being a good option. Here are my reasons. Nuclear power plants take decades to get fully operational, always come in way over budget. Look up Hinkley Point C, for example. Has associated extreme security concern and has nuclear waste products. And has nuclear power plants. And has waste products where the only option to get rid of them is to dig a giant hole, drop it in, and cover it with as much cement as you can get your hands on. Even then, you can still fuck it up. The U.S. just spent $19 billion on the waste isolation pilot plant in New Mexico, but a single mislabeled container contaminated the site just a couple of years after opening. The cleanup took 3 years and a cost of $2 billion. Yeah, the thing I don't like about nuclear waste is the waste. And I was thinking, well, then you build a rocket and you shoot it out into space. I don't know what you do with it. The benefit of nuclear power is that it has no greenhouse gas emissions. That's great. And can produce large quantities of energy in a single power plant. However, for me, the juice is absolutely not worth the squeeze. Anyway, if you make it this far, then thanks for reading. Dude, this has been fascinating. I hope I have convinced even one of your listeners to at least go out and do a bit more research for themselves. Listening to your stupid rants provides a brief highlight at the start of the work week. That's why I listens. Keep it up and go fuck yourself. Yeah, listen to my stupid rants. I love it. There's a smart guy out there. Listen to this dumb, bald idiot before I have to go in here and use 3/4 of my brain. NFL getting it done. Bill, why do you think the NFL is the only league that was able to get 0 COVID cases out of thousands of employees for 2 weeks straight? These guys aren't in a bubble. They travel. I firmly believe it's because of the old school attitude that lives on in football. There is still a gridiron attitude and a lot of old school coaches and owners around that don't take shit. The NBA is player dominated, and even though there is drama in the NFL, it's not that sissy shit in the NBA. All right. You know what I got out of that? This guy's an NBA fan. Well, here's the thing. NBA players make way more money than most NFL players. So I think the Whoas go after them a little bit more. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what it is, sir. I have no idea. I don't even know if those numbers are right. I don't know. I have no idea. All right, buying land. Dear Bill, I'm a 21-year-old from a big city on the West Coast. My interest in economics and real estate has me interested in buying a small plot of land. At 21, look at you. Good for you. The area in which I'm looking is growing, therefore it's not entirely speculative. Excuse me. I've been using my life savings and taking out a small loan, which I know I can pay monthly and have paid off. I've ran the numbers. My only question is this. Being my first endeavor, I'm a bit nervous. Is this the start of something that will ruin me or the first step to something bigger? How do you get over that with stand-up? Whoa, you went from real estate to telling jokes. Hang on a second. I need a little sip of water here. All right. Okay, I would continue to look at land. I don't know shit about money other than I don't try and blow it. So I'm concerned that you're going to be, you said I'd be using my life savings. Does that mean your entire life savings? If you have to do that, you're only 21. I'd save up a little bit longer. You always have to have what the fuck money. And if we've learned anything in 2020, you need to have that money because they'll help you out for a little bit and then you're on your fucking own. So All of these people who live like in these not all these people, but a lot of these people who live in really rural areas. Okay, if they paid off their house and they know how to hunt and they have a well in their land, like they can survive a really, really long fucking time. There is something to be. There needs to be a respect again between red states and blue states. Like this whole fucking Real Housewife shit that we're involved in. It's really stupid. But getting back to you, I get nervous when I do when I invest in that type of stuff. But I just make sure that I gamble with something that I can lose. Okay, and if it's your entire life savings, maybe you want to look for land somewhere different. Maybe buy a little bit less. Maybe save up a little bit longer. But you're asking, how do I get over it? I would equate it to the soloing. How do you get over it? You just make the decision that you're doing it. I made the decision this week that I was ready and I was going to solo. So, and then it ended up coming a day earlier. And then I got to do it twice. And how great I felt about myself. And I called up and I thanked my instructor profusely. And I'm still in touch with all of my instructors that I've had throughout the years. I still talk to all of those guys because I look at them like they've taught me one of the greatest skills you could have as a person. Learn how to fly. I mean, you're flying. It's unbelievable. And they taught me how to do it safely. And I had nothing but great instructors that, taught me how not to fly like an asshole. So how you get over stuff is you don't take more risk than you're comfortable with, but you do take a risk. And you just have to say to yourself, I'm doing this. Okay? So if you want to invest in land, just know you're going to do this. But then on the other side, you don't have to like jump in the deep end with rocks in your pockets when you do it. Okay? You can jump in the shallow end. You can still dunk your head under the water in the shallow end, but you run out of air, you can stand up. Whoa, look at that analogy. You get in the deep end, hey, you can get a little fucking crazy. So if you still want to do it now, and I think your background in economics and real estate are two really great backgrounds for you to be successful in the future. I think your head's in the right place. I think you're nervous about this for the right reason. It's going to be taking too much of your savings, and you need a small loan. I would be more cautious than that. You got your whole fucking life ahead of you, so I would buy a smaller piece of land that you can handle. You can make the payments. It's not gonna it's not gonna crush you or whatever. And then you can learn on that one. And then when you pay that thing off, now you got something, you got some equity in that. You can use that to get a loan to get something else. And then you'll be off and running, and you'll meet people in the real estate business. That's another thing. I would go to open mics. I would talk to comedians, people at different levels of doing comedy, and I would ask them questions, and I would just soak it up. So don't listen to me for real estate advice. But definitely talk to people that know your business, because I don't know your business. But good luck, and I'm proud of you at 21 that you're already thinking like that. It's very mature. You're out ahead of the game, and you're going to live a great life. All right? Just marry a sweetheart, and you're golden. And, there's really something to be said to being that smart in your 20s. I wish I was. All right, let's get to the questions here. I'm trying to get to the questions and get through this podcast before the kiddos come back. Oh, my God. My son had a blowout today. He was sitting on my lap. And he just kept going and going and going and going. And then I was just like, oh, my God, there's not a diaper in the world that's going to be able to hold that. I'm starting to learn as a dad, not standing there. I used to be when, my daughter or, back in the day, a relative's baby, I'd be holding them and they'd start letting it go, I'd be standing there, like an idiot with the kids sitting on my lap. Like, you ever see those fucking morons who are down by the beach when one of those tidal waves comes in? Is that what they call it? What the fuck is a big wave? It's a tidal wave, but there's the one that, is like an earthquake under the water, and the wave is just coming and nobody can see it coming. What do they call it? It's not a tidal wave. God damn it. It's not a typhoon. Is it a tidal wave? Giant wave. Name. Tidal wave. A tsunami is a tsunami. What's the difference between a tidal wave and a tsunami? Is a tidal wave like it got to the AFC Championship game and then lost, but a tsunami is the Super Bowl winner? Versus tsunami. A tidal wave is by definition waves caused by ocean tides, whereas tsunami is almost always caused by an earthquake underwater. Tsunami waves are also very different from normal wind-generated waves, which many of us have observed on a local lake or a coastal beach. That's fucking fascinating. If this building shakes one more I've been living in LA for too long. I just keep thinking that there's a earthquake. This is the last house we got here. All right, tsunami waves are very different from tidal waves. A tidal wave is by definition, okay, I already said that. Tsunami waves are also very different from normal wind-generated waves, which many of us have observed on a local lake or a coastal beach. Observers of a tsunami will understand these waves are more like a fast-moving tide crashing into the shoreline. Yeah, I mean, those things are terrifying. You don't even see it coming, and all of a sudden it just rises up out of the water like a fucking cobra. Normal ocean waves are caused by wind, weather, tides, and currents, whereas tsunamis are powered by geological force. Tsunami waves are surface gravity waves that are formed as the displaced water mass moves under the influence of gravity and radiate across the ocean like ripples on a pond. Yeah, so it's in all directions, 360 degrees. Regular wind waves only involve motion or uppermost. I want to see what's the farthest a tsunami can go and still do damage. Tsunami average range. In other places, tsunamis have known to surge vertically as high as 100 feet, 30 meters. Most tsunamis cause the sea to rise more than 10 feet. The Indian Ocean tsunami caused waves as high as 30 feet in some places, according to news reports. I mean, that is fascinating. All right. How the fuck did I start talking about that? All right. I got questions here to answer. The lovely Nia just popped in. How are you, sweetheart? How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. All right. Response to question about scientists getting pussy. Every email from this scientist said, no, there are no science groupies. Scientists don't get pussy. This one is saying the opposite. All right, so that's from Andrew. All right. Physicists get pussy. Hey, Bill, new listener here. In your September 14th Monday morning podcast, you were speculating about whether scientists have groupies or not. I laughed out loud because, yes, they do. All right, I want to know about this world. And do the chicks that you get, do they have their hair up in a ponytail and they're wearing black frame glasses? And then later on that night, they let down the ponytail and you take their glasses off and you do a makeover. And it's like, wow, wait a minute. You're actually the best looking girl at the fucking mall. Sorry. Every coming to age movie was like that. And I was surprised to learn that myself. I was surprised to learn that myself. I work at a university with a really, well, listen, if you're fucking teaching a class, any dumb blonde's going to blow you to try to pass, right? Isn't that how it works, Nia?
Bill.
I work at a university with a really big physics department, sorry. As you can tell, I was not in that wing in college. I don't even know if my college had a science. We didn't have a science department. The place is populated with greasy-haired introverts who smile spasmodically with half their mouths and can only maintain eye contact with you for 0.25 seconds per social encounter. There are some normal guys, too. There are even a few slick, confident guys. All right, so you got the full range, but most of them are sort of introverted people that feel more comfortable looking into a microscope, whatever you say, rather than looking at another person. Over the last decade, I've seen these dudes have crazy affairs. Oh, wow. Divorce and remarry, have administrative meetings called about them because of their scandalous behavior, blah, blah, blah. And the women are hot. The only difference between the world of sports and this one is that women start with master's degrees. Wow. Yes, Bill, I know what you're thinking. You don't. I'm blown away. How hot are these physics groupies? Well, I'm an outsider to their world, the same way you are to the groupies clamoring to get to the Clippers players or whoever the fuck. I can objectively state that there are many women who are hot by any straight man's standards in that scene, and they are all intelligent and highly educated too. Wow. Well, yeah, well, I think if you're a really smart chick, how long could you be around some fucking moron? Not saying that athletes are morons. There's another stereotype. See, people were breaking it down. What's that?
I said 17 years, apparently.
We haven't been together for 17 years.
Almost.
16. 17 years I've been with you? Did Dak Prescott just throw another fucking touchdown? That Gallup guy again. There you go. Ground can't cause a fumble. He broke the plane. No flags in the play. I love it. What are they looking at it over and over and again to see if he, is that a touchdown? Yeah, that's got to be a touchdown. All right, sorry. Back to the scientist pussy here. Groupies. I guess the point is that if you excel at anything, there are women out there who will notice. Good genes, right? That's right. Yeah, if you're a hot chick, what are you going to fucking bang a loser? Well, my wife did. Oh, see, I beat you to the punch. And physical beauty is just as important to these guys as it is to any other chump, of course. So the women courting the top tier of scientists are hot. But to stick the landing, they have to be able to hold their own in a conversation, too. So basically, it's another level. I'm not in it. I'm good looking and charming, but I don't have a shot. Well, not with that attitude. These women are interested in the physics superstars, nothing less. Sincerely, anonymous fellow who please don't mention my name so I don't lose my job. Thanks. I never would. I would never mention a name for something like that. Okay, first of all, that was all very educational. And second of all, there's no reason why you can't go out and get the top level scientist groupie pussy. All right? You got to think more positive. All right, maybe you got to have a little fucking end zone dance, except a microscope dance after you fucking discover something. I don't know what it is. Or just hang out with the physics superstar. You know, you'll get their runoff. Still got to be like an 8, right? It's not bad. I don't know. Nia, what would you classify yourself as?
What do you mean?
Like 1 through 10. Where would you put yourself? I mean, to me, you're a 10. 10. You're a 10?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Now you just became a 9 to me.
Why?
You lose a point for arrogance.
For confidence. It's not arrogance, it's confidence.
No, it's arrogance.
No, it isn't. What are you to say if it's arrogance or not?
Who are you to say that I'm...
I'm like, guess I'm like a 5. No.
I didn't say 5. You could have been humbled and said 9. You're like, what the hell did I marry?
Listen,
You can start talking about yourself in the third point person?
Listen, Nia spent her whole life being humble. Now Nia's ready to tell the world how awesome she is.
Well, all right, then. She's a 10 and she knows it. All right. If I was an insecure person, I would have you stop listening to Beyonce. I don't like what she's filling your head up with. Or does she even do that? She just says she's the shit, right? And then you guys are like, yeah, that's how I feel about myself.
Yes.
Oh, that reminds me, last night, I asked people in the crowd if they felt they'd ever accomplished anything great. And all I heard was women voices going, yes, yes. So I said to this woman in the crowd, she was in her 20s, beautiful woman. I said, what have you done? She goes, I'm a head chef. And I was like, all right. I worked in a restaurant too.
You weren't a head chef, though.
I know, but is that great?
Yeah.
That's great.
To become a head chef in a restaurant?
Hey, Nia, it's not going to rain tomorrow. Isn't that great? It's that kind of great.
No, that requires skill. You're talking about the weather.
All right.
You're dumb. You're just a dumb fucking dummy. Why are you so dumb?
Well, I don't know.
Look at you. You're so dumb.
But wait a minute. But Michael Jordan's great. So if I became a head chef, I can be like, hey, Michael Jordan, you know, as great as you are as a basketball player, I'm also great.
Who's comparing themselves to Michael Jordan?
Well, the way the question I was asking, it's like greatness. And she was a head chef somewhere, and she was saying that she was great because of that.
I agree with her. Good for her.
I disagree 100%.
Why? Based on what? Like, why can't
Based on Michael Jordan.
you can't compare everyone else?
Based on the greatest chefs. Based on that guy we saw making the fucking pasta.
Jordan is like a freak of nature. No one can ever be as great as Michael Jordan.
That's why people got to stop saying great. They got to stop saying they're great, because they're not.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's so, again, I'm baffled.
Do you know what's funny about that, Nia? Is people give me shit because I say anyways instead of anyway.
Anyway,
That's dumb. It's ignorant, correct?
why? No.
To say anyways instead of anyway?
Yeah, anyways. People say anyway all the time. Doesn't mean you're dumb. What are these standards that people are holding other people to?
The standards. Standards of greatness, standards of using grammar correctly. Does everything have to become dress down Fridays so everybody can feel like they're included? Fine, a head chef and Michael Jordan, they're both great. Jesus Christ. All right, let's just keep going. I give up. You know what? I am officially fucking, I don't understand this. I don't understand the music. I don't understand what's great anymore.
You're like
Everybody's a 10.
You're an old cranky guy now. What happened?
I think I'm definitely old. I'm not cranky. I'm honest.
Well, I don't know why you can't give someone their kudos because they became head chef at a restaurant. I think that's amazing. She probably worked really hard.
I wasn't giving a shit about that. The point of the...
You're like, great? Is that great? Is that greatness? Like,
No, I mean, because if you were listening to the fucking bit, it was sort of a joke question. Like, have you done anything great in your life? Okay, I don't want to do the fucking bit because I need all the material I have, okay?
right.
And just fucking becoming a head chef. And yeah, it's just like, I mean, yeah, I've done some things in comedy, but Richard Pryor is great.
People say that you're one of the greats.
I know, the people on the internet, and everybody has a fucking opinion. But I'm just saying, there's Richard Pryor and there's fucking everybody else. But there's a bunch of people out there. There's middle acts. I give up. You know what? Everybody's great. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's beautiful, like that skinny bitch used to say, who was beautiful and everyone wanted to... I don't understand her. She's one of the hottest chicks out there at the time, and she writes that fucking song. And everybody's like, that's like that fucking beautiful. You are beautiful. Everybody wants to fuck you. Was she really down on herself?
No, because she was getting a lot of shit at that time. So I think it was her. No, I am great. You know, it's
Well,
like
that's because she went from a teen idol to rolling around in the mud with her hoo-ha hanging out. She brought it on herself.
roll around the mud.
That's what she was doing when she wanted to be dirty, right? She became a blue comic. I know it. She can do a show with me anytime. I don't give a fuck what she says. All right, dishwasher rant. I love wash. I love when people, that reminds me of my grandmother. She used to say wash. Hey, old Billy No Beer Gut. Man, it's all pizza and fucking M&Ms. Used to be booze. I wanted to talk about your recent rant on the MM podcast that dishwashers are a fraud and don't work. Let me start by saying this is true and not true depending on the washer. All right, educate me. Because my experience with dishwashers are the only way they wash the dishes is if there's a very low, fresh level of filth on them. Like spaghetti sauce on a plate that's been sitting there for longer than 20 minutes is too much to ask for most dishwashers. The only reason I know this is because I've worked for an appliance manufacturer for a few years. Oh, I love this person. He's going to give me the Michael Jordan. He's actually going to tell me, or she's going to tell me, the actual great one. Oh, look at 14. He's going to look for a flag, right? Fucking pushing off 27, you fucking cunt. All right, the only reason why I know this is because I've worked for appliance manufacturer for a few years. I'm an industrial designer, a cool profession. Yes, it is. Look it up. I mean, if you're doing something industrial and you're designing it to make it look nicer, I think that's great. And can tell you that we basically designed the functionality within dishwashers as well as their appearance. We are not engineers. I repeat, not engineers. So in a way, we are bullshit artists that pitch functionality based on a hunch that certain parts we design should do certain things. And with all professions, some of us are incredibly smart and some are not. In my opinion, there are certain brands that you can tell have a better engineer/designer work relationship. Well, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. It's like you want a car. Certain cars look better than other cars. Certain refrigerators are a little more sexier than others. Is that what you do? Are you the one that put the curves in a fucking Vitamixer? If you and me are looking to replace your dishwasher, I highly recommend staying away from brands like Whirlpool, LG, and Maytag. Well, what about the Maytag repairman? He was so lonely. I'm not even going to endorse my company because I haven't had enough time to make a decision on our products. But I hope this helps and confirms you are kind of correct. Well, could you let me, which is the dishwasher that works? Because I could Google right now, best dishwashers, and all those other brands you just named are going to have such a presence because they have money to hire the top nerds to make sure that they're on the first page, one of the first 2 or 3 clicks. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. All right. Nia, how do you pronounce Fauci? Fauci?
Dr. Fauci?
Oh, I was going to say Fossey. Who's Dr. Fauci? I know that name. That's not the Supreme Court person who just died.
He's like the head guy in charge of like infectious diseases. He's
Oh, Fauci.
giving all the updates.
Oh, Fauci. You got to stay in shape with a last name like that. You can't be Fat Fauci. Oh, Fat Fauci eating all the fettuccine. Fettuccine Fauci. Oh, clam sauce himself. What's his first name? Alfredo? Alfredo Fauci. All right. Hey, Bill, I wear a mask, so don't yell at me. I'm like the guy who wrote in last week. I really have a hard time believing there is no fuckery when there's video of Fauci saying wearing a mask doesn't work. It's silly. Well, I think it also depends on when these people say this shit. I don't know. It seems like they were like, at first, we weren't supposed to wear masks. Everybody had gloves on. I remember that. Some will say that he said that to make sure that the N95 masks that were needed for medical professionals wouldn't be hoarded. What a bunch of shit. That sounds like a bunch of shit to me. I have no idea where to get those, nor does the average American. They don't sell them at Walmart, 7-Eleven, or street vendors. Also, don't you think there'd be less crowding in hospitals if everyone was at least wearing a bandana in February, which would produce less crowding and need for an N95 mask? If you do believe that Fauci's, I don't even know who he is. Okay? I just saw a thing at one point saying that the CDC said to wear a mask, so I believe in it. I'm not saying I'm right, but I just look at it like this way: mask versus no mask. If I'm wrong, all you did was smell your own breath for a few months, right? If you're wrong, then this fucking thing continues and more people lose their small businesses. And I don't think anybody knows what the right answer is. So I'm just erring on the side of caution. Flying helicopters, you don't have to go out and do auto rotations. Once you get your private license, you can fly for the rest of your fucking life and never do one and just bank on the fact that your engine's never going to fail. You know, you can do that, and you can get away with doing that. Who knows? You know, it's not how I live my life. Anyway, if you do believe that Fauci said this to prevent a shortage of masks and it was the right decision, then you have to accept the fact that Fauci lied to the public knowingly. I don't know anything about this, but I agree with how you're analyzing this information. How many liars do you know that only lie once? Well, there's different types of liars. Everybody lies. Honey, do you like this dress? Yes, because it gets me out of the store quicker. Just fucking buy it and let's get out of here. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I don't like spending the money either, but I know arguing with you is not going to prevent you from buying it. So yes, I like it. You look great. You look hot. Let's get the fuck out of here. There's those kinds of lies. And then there's smoking doesn't cause cancer lies. So it all depends. But everybody lies their fucking balls off, including Jesus Christ, because he got a hooker, and there's no way he brought up, you know, if she said, aren't you the son of God? What? No. What's going on? Figure we could bang out here over the water. Well, how are we gonna fuck in the water? No, we'll be on top of it. Okay, if 40,000 people die for every 1% increase of unemployment, give or take 10,000, depending on the study you read, how come no one is shouting, you're killing people of all ages across the country, the way you yell, you're killing people's grandparents? Well, because I think if everybody just stopped wearing masks, and that's the wrong answer, then that ratio is not going to remain a constant, right? If I'm understanding what you're saying here. Unemployment will kill conservatively 500,000 people. All right, well, where did you get that? So I'm not supposed to believe Fauci. He's a fucking liar, but I'm supposed to believe you, who is not in the business of stopping a pandemic. This is the whole thing about this, and my whole thing is I listen to people with shit like this. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, I'll listen to a sports fan when he thinks about who's going to win a game. It's just a fucking game. But a pandemic, I'm not listening to regular people. And all I've been saying this is just listen to the people that do this for a living to try and stop this shit, to try and warn people. That's all I've been saying. I don't even listen to politicians. All right? I don't listen to old Joe or crazy Donnie. I don't listen to either one of these. These are our fucking choices. Old Joe Biden and crazy fucking Donald Trump. Two of the oldest fucking they both look like they used to fucking host game shows.
Oldie or crazy?
Yeah, old or crazy. Neither one of them has all their marbles. Why don't you fucking elect both of them, and then they can fucking, hey, what do you think? All right, influenza is different than the flu. There are many different influenza strands that go unidentified each year. There was never mass testing of these deaths to determine that perhaps half of the deaths were of the same strand. Strain. No, it said strand.
They're wrong.
Oh, strain. Okay. All right, Nia's saying you're wrong. This would allow it to be named and branded as something that could more easily be feared. All right, all of this is making sense to me. It's not that COVID is a conspiracy, it's that it's being reported irresponsibly, according to you. By the way, what is your background? What is your background? That's my thing. Because if you're just a person who's just going on the internet and they're looking at clips of Fauci and then you're looking up numbers and then, ooh, what about influenza? How many people does this? And this is how you're putting together your fucking term paper. There's no way to know where you got your information from. There's so many websites that are pretending to be official that aren't official. I don't know. I don't know the deal. That was what was great about the library. You had fiction and the nonfiction section. Where the internet, everybody is saying that they're nonfiction. All right, I can continue to read this, but like at the end of the day, this is just some fucking guy or woman just writing this in. So, all right, if it was, and I used to feel like this type of shit, but I mean, to go along with this, that this is like, that the smartest people in the world, the people that are scientists and the people that are running the countries around the fucking world, that they're all somehow missing the boat. But you, who do not have that position, you somehow know what's really going on. And everybody has lost a bunch of fucking money off of this thing. So everybody is fucking losing, unless you can tell me there's this secret economy and they're trying to bankrupt all of us. Then they're going to come in and buy everything. And then I don't know. Anyway. And plus, how hard is it to wear a fucking mask? Everybody's being the biggest fucking baby. It's not like they're telling you to do fucking 500 squats every day. They're just saying to put on a mask. And the way that we eat, drink, smoke, fuck, none of it's healthy. Our fucking water is so goddamn polluted. You got to have bottled water that's sat in plastic containers for sometimes years. Don't fucking talk to me about this. I think this really just comes down to it's a new inconvenience that people don't want to fucking deal with. But I'll continue reading this. It was off the cuff, so I won't hold you over the fire for your words. Wait a minute. Hold me over the fire for words. Why? Don't talk to me like you just proved something. You're just a guy who went on the internet who looked up some shit. And I don't even know where you got it. You're not citing any of your fucking sources. You have one fucking link here. I mean, that goes to Wikipedia. One of them's a Wikipedia thing. Come on, man. I went on Wikipedia one time and I just wrote some horse shit on my fucking page to see how long it sat there. It sat there for like 3 days. It was off the cuff, so I won't hold you over the fire for your words. Well, first of all, stop talking to me like that, like you hold some sort of authority over me, and I'm sitting here like I'm doing my 6-month review with you. But the sentiment was that people will be able to open their businesses again. These businesses have thousands of dollars in debt, destroyed credit, and no end in sight. Not to mention, they were forced to close their businesses indefinitely, making it almost impossible to plan ahead. A large wealth transfer that should have gone to the next generation is now going towards debt payments and banks. Yes, and who do you hold responsible for that? Let me guess, just rich people? What about all the fucking selfish assholes that didn't do what people were telling them to do? People in power were telling them to do, and they immediately were saying that the world is flat. This is all a fucking conspiracy. You can't always blame the top 1%. All right? We're all selfish cunts. Just some of us are smart enough to learn how to build a global business. All right. There are so many factors that have created a war on many fronts. So-and-so put out a video where he simply questioned, if masks work and standing 6 feet apart works, why is everything still shut down? Well, because people aren't wearing the masks. If people would play ball, I don't know. Anyway, the protests caused spikes in major cities where businesses weren't allowed to open. Also, irresponsible leadership. Well, right there, you just back down that thing. You just give this quote where you say, well, if it works, then why isn't it shut down? Well, protesters weren't wearing masks. Regular people aren't wearing masks. People a few blocks over on the beach here are not wearing masks. They're just not wearing them. Kids are having fucking parties. That's why. And then people catch it, and then they fucking go to work. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Also, irresponsible leadership. And they're saying that standing 6 feet apart in mass is the best way to stop this spread. They're not saying it's 100% guaranteed. So when you combine that with the fact that people are doing whatever the fuck it is they want to do, evidently, then you're going to bring them to work. And, I feel that standing 6 feet apart wearing a mask is probably the safest thing you can do. But I don't want to do it standing across from someone that went to a fucking rave where no one was wearing a mask. This is just this fucking thing. You can literally tell somebody that the sky is fucking blue, and somebody is just going to argue the other side because they just don't want to hear somebody telling them what to do. And I am the king of that. I am the king of not wanting people telling me what the fuck to do. And I am, for once, just trying to listen to what people in power are telling me to do. Because I've been on social media, and I think people are out of their minds. That's just my opinion. Also, irresponsible leadership. Let them protest and let them open. They opened up states early. Every fucking state that opened early, then they had a spike. We're at a point where we're expected to deny logic and fall in line with one of two major opinions. They also politicized it. CNN and Fox politicized the thing. It's a shit show, sir. And I'll tell you, ma'am, I'm not going to fucking argue with you. If you think I'm full of shit and that listening to scientists rather than politicians or news media outlets and all that type of shit is stupid, then, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I don't care. Don't wear a mask. I don't give a shit. Go out there, go breathe on people, go lick a fucking pole. I don't care. All right. Black voter. Dear Bill and Burr, I am a black voter. That's going to be a new next Netflix series, Black Voter. Legitimate question for you this morning. Can you please explain to me why liberals like yourself cannot deem Joe Biden a racist as succinctly as you do Donald Trump? All right, I'm not reading the rest of this. Okay, I'm just not reading this. First of all, I'm not a Joe Biden guy. Second of all, how do I know you're black? How do I know you vote? How do I know who you are? I don't know. I don't know. But send me, okay? Something like this. I'm not fucking reading this. Just send a video, read this question, all right? Read this fucking question, all right? Read it word for fucking word like it is here so I know it's you, and then I will read this thing all day. But I am not getting involved in this politics shit where someone's saying, like, Obama's the worst president ever, and I'm a Democrat, or Donald Trump is just a fucking moron, and I'm a Republican. Like, that stupid gaslighting fucking horse shit. I'm not reading that shit. All right. I fucking hate Joe Biden. I fucking hate Donald Trump. I hate that these two old fucking shitheads are my only two choices, okay? I hate it. All right? I like Bernie Sanders. That's who I liked. I think a lot of people on the left like Bernie Sanders, and the Democrats will not give him to me or anybody else because they want a company man in there that's going to protect the oil companies and keep the wars going. And that's why everybody, Republicans and Democrats, don't like fucking Donald Trump because he's a fucking wild card and they don't know what he's going to do, which is what was the appealing thing about the guy. All right? But now that he's been there, I don't know. I compare him to like Jeff George. He has an amazing arm, but he's a fucking locker room cancer. All right. Black voter. All right. That was actually insulting to Jeff George because he had a better arm than fucking this guy makes a speech. Just my opinion. All right. Black voter. I already did this one. Okay. Lady listener. All right. Dr. Dre's divorce. Now do I need you to send in a video? Lady listener here. Did you see that rapper and producer Dr. Dre is getting divorced from his wife of around 20 years? Yes, I heard about this. In California, no fault state. It's going to cost some money. This past week, she filed saying she owns his name and half of his hit album, Chronic 2000, which he produced and rapped on around the time they were married. Well, that's probably how it's going to go down in court. Owns his name? I don't know about his name. Now newspapers and online sources are spinning it as if it's okay that this man's career that started in the 80s should be split completely in half. She wants to own half of his identity that he already had. Also, 2 weeks ago, she filed asking for $2 million a month in spousal support. All of his children, 2 with his current wife, 3 with previous wife, are adults, so no child support. Would love to hear your thoughts. Link posted below. Well, first of all, it's a negotiation. So my experience in business is that the first ask is they ask for the entire solar system. And if you're dumb enough to give it to them, then, you know, you lose. So Dr. Dre is not going to be dumb enough to be like, okay, to any of this shit. So what she's asking for, she'll be happy if she gets 1/3 of what the fuck she's asking for, she'll be good. So that's how the game is played. There's no divorce attorney that's going to say that what she's asking for is a dumb strategy. It's a great strategy. It's a business thing. You just go in, and if the guy's worth $1 billion, you just say, hey, you know, I feel like I'm worth 750 million of that $1 billion. And then he's like, oh, what the fuck, blah, blah. But then they're going to settle out of court for 200 million. She's still going to get 200 million. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but I've left all of that shit behind as far as just trashing, you know, women and all that fucking crap. You know what the fuck it is that they do. They know what the fuck it is that we do. So you got to have your head on a fucking swivel. And that's the deal. And when it comes to when you're getting divorced and you have a bunch of money, the person with less money is always going to ask for a fucking $1 zillion. Because I know a couple of fucking females in this business whose husbands weren't making any money. And guess what the fuck they did? They asked for a lot. They asked for fucking spousal support. I can't even say without laughing. All right? I'll tell you right now, I got too much fucking pride. I got too much fucking pride to fucking ever have another adult pay for my my life. But, you know, unfortunately, the way things are set up, you know, there's a lot of women who are institutionalized. As much as they're walking around talking shit that they're warriors and they're brave and they're living their best life, at the end of the day, you know, they don't have any problem doing shit like this, taking the fucking easy way out. So, I mean, good luck to Dr. Dre. I mean, I think, look, whatever she asked for, he can afford to give her, and he's still going to be living a great life. And it's been ridiculous, male or female, when shit like this goes down. All right, but I don't know. As things get more progressive and fair, I think that you're going to see more guys doing this, which is great for guys. Because if guys start doing it, then the law will be changed because it's affecting women. All right, that's my last ignorant thing. Hey, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, all right? Vote for Trump, vote for Biden. I don't give a fuck.